Welcome to Disruption Cubed, and I know what you're thinking. There's so much disruption out there, why the hell would anyone cube it? What's with the number 3? Well, today, 3 steps to dealing with disruption. 3 key points in each and roughly 3 minutes spent on each, so 3 by 3 by 3. Now, disruption was the buzzword of 2016. Everyone that was talking about it was trying to convince people it was coming. The good news is there's only 3 things you need to do. The first one is know your context. The second one is pick your strategy. And third of all, you need to have an organisation that is capable of enacting that strategy. Now, what I'm going to do is walk you through these 3 steps. But the reason I show this to you is that without knowing our context, we can't have the focus to act. This is the first one. It has been proven that a Fitbit is more accurate than an autopsy. In Connecticut, there was a woman who was murdered by her husband. Now, he gave an account of the events, but they got some Fitbit data and they found out that her steps and the kilometres she'd moved didn't match what he said had happened that day. Since Terminator and the rise of the machines, we've been worried about robots coming to get us. The interesting thing is, whilst it wasn't deliberate, it was by a machine that should know better. We've also got coming live this morning for you, a woman in Melbourne has decided to live stream her birth. It shows that the rise of social media is with us all the time. And we just thought we'd show and play you a little bit of that birth now. Just kidding. So, sustainability is a bigger trend than ever. Now, it's been around for a long time, but more categories and more consumers are using sustainability as a driver. Now, this brand is actually one in our stable. And we managed to go in 90 days into a disruptive positioning for them, which was all about wellness for the chickens. So not just what they're eating, not just that they happen to be a little bit free range, but actually happy chickens. Now the punchline here is that it matches a trend, and if we can hook into this trend, we can get rapid growth. These are now the 8th largest egg selling brand in Australia in under 6 months, from absolutely no name to a household name. The Oxford Dictionary has selected the Tears of Joy emoji as its word of the year. That young Koreans are capable of having lengthy conversations with emojis alone, no words. But it proves to us that digital natives are now ruling the roost, and we've got to speak their language more than ever before. God's gone mobile, which is good. He's now available in the palm of your hand, or more correctly, to get his hand in your pocket. They're not just taking donations in Sweden in masse, they're taking them en masse and on mobile now. And billboards. Old school media has moved into digital and personalisation. There's a billboard now where when you walk up to it and look at it, it will mirror your emotions and play them back at you. So a digital screen that shares your feelings with you. Finally, we all heard from Trump that China was going to be huge. Little impersonation there. But the thing is, population growth has happened in China, but the new population sphere is going to be in Africa. There were more people living inside the circle than outside of the circle. However, by 2050, more than half the population growth is going to happen over here. Consumers could actually pull out an app and work out whether you were delivering on it and if it matched their values. Consumers are taking control. So now, before they come into your coffee shop or turn up to your business, they can research you and they can work out whether you're the type of business they'd like to work with, and it's independently validated and verified. And finally, the last gag of the day, that's a traditional media trader there. We've all seen that programmatic is here to stay, it's evolving quickly, and we're now able to deliver the right message to the right person in the right time better than ever before. So the point here is that there's a lot of stuff flying under your radar. And with so much going on, how can we possibly have the right disruption strategy? The point here is to get focus and clarity. Within all the noise, if we don't have that clarity, it's almost impossible to act. And with so much going on, we could do almost anything, but what's the right strategy? So I announce here this morning officially, the SWOT analysis is dead. The reason it's dead is that it is not time relevant, it has no time context. And opportunities and challenges in business are absolutely time critical. Imagine if someone had tried to launch Uber 10 years before they did, it probably wouldn't have flown. So our job is to take all the trends that are going on and plot them on a strategic radar. It's a tool from my company, Step Change. Essentially, what it does is categorizes things between opportunities and challenges, what's happening internally in your business and externally, but most importantly, over a time horizon so you can act within the context. We find up the top, it's usually your market forces, your consumer trends, environmental factors, and your competitive forces. However, down in the bottom two quadrants, we've often got your innovation zone, places for sustainable competitive advantage, and finally, limitations and barriers and internal issues that you've got to deal with. The point of all this is that we want to get it down to just 3 opportunities and challenges that our business will use to move forward. Now, if you've got a good handle on your context, you've summarised and prioritised it down, you've got an understanding of the timing and the context, you've got to pick your strategy. Now, the good news is there are only 3 strategies for dealing with disruption. The very first one is to be the disruption. So this is when you're actually the disruptive force in the market, new product, new consumer offerings, new business models. An example here, again, this is a client of ours. Sleeping Duck has completely revolutionised the mattress category. They came in, no showrooms, no trials, sold online, delivered the next day, nice and cheap, get rid of the salespeople, 100-night sleep guarantee, which means you could give it back at any time. Now, to be disruptive with that, we built them the Sandman vehicle. Now what this does is it turns up in a whole lot of places where you'd probably like a nap. Some of you probably wanted to be in bed on your way here this morning. And it offers a trial of the mattress. The next one is that you can bridge the disruption. This is finding a way to take the status quo of your business model and augment it with new disruptive forces so that you can move from one to the other with a slow transition. Macquarie Telecom is that example for us. They're a traditional hardware company. So they're used to selling all the bits and bobs and electronics that help people be on networks. Now things have gone cloud, and instead of putting their head in the sand, they found ways to bridge into those services in a transition period so that they can make the most of the existing business model and the future one. And last of all, you can completely avoid the disruption, put your head in the sand and try and move on. Now the key to this is to find a niche market or an uber premium market that you can defend. So the example here for us, again, another client of ours, Sony Home Pictures. The DVD business is in a little bit of trouble. The way that they've moved around that is they've found value adds and premium experiences to give away with their DVDs. It's the reason that you get DVDs now that are market-specific, collector's item, and have things on them like additional features and content that you can't get anywhere else. So not only is the quality better than what you might download online, which is the key issue, you actually get things that you fundamentally can't anywhere else. So we've picked our context, we know the 3 things we're looking at in terms of opportunities and challenges. We then look, well, hey, which strategy out of those 3 are we going to have to move forward? The final piece of the puzzle is to make sure we have an organisation that can enact that strategy. And once again, 3 places to look. At Step Change, we're about inspiring businesses to take that next step change. And these are the 3 places that we look. First of all, competency. We want to make sure that we have the right people in the business to create the skills and capabilities we need for tomorrow. We have capacity. It's really interesting. There's not too many people in businesses that are just sitting there with 2-3 hours each day waiting around to create change. We have to find what we can take out of the days to create room for that change. So at Step Change, it's all about doing a stop audit. Once we have the new strategy, we look at everything the business does and we work out where we can create headroom for that capacity. And finally, culture. Some business cultures cannot wait to get the change happening. They're excited by it and they're energized by it. Other cultures find it exhaustive. We need to build that culture that is ready and willing to be agile. And finally, we have Disruption Cubed, the model there, which will come around to you also. Know your context, pick your strategy, and have an organisation that's ready to go. So that's Disruption Cubed. I'm Jeff Cooper, the founding partner of Step Change, and this is exactly 1 minute on us.